Hello and welcome to today's video as we cover the LCK best of 5 records for all players since 2016. On the list here I have the players that have appeared at least in at least 10 best of 5s over those last, what are now 8 or 9 seasons. There are about 8 to a dozen players in each role. Kind of ran out of room when we got to supports, but we'll talk about those as well. So typically, we think of the last several years being kind of dominated by T1 and Gen G and variants of Gen G. Once in a while, you have a team like HLE come in there, or Kingzone, or Longzhu, or etc. KT many years ago, when we're looking back at 2016, we're looking at Samsung Galaxy as well. Dominant teams. And when you look at players throughout their entire careers, not many end up with a positive best of 5 record when we saw so much dominance out of T1 and Gen G. So in top lane, the most best of 5s in this window of time are by Keen. Keen is only 15 and 14 in his career in best of 5s though. And you think back to the Afrika Freak days. Even with KT, lost a lot of best of 5s. Zeus is in second, 26 best of 5s, 17 and 9. He has the second best win rate out of the top laners. The best is Khan, 11 and 2. We think of Khan with DK, we think of Khan with T1. Some would say he's the best top laner ever. Some would say it's Smeb. Smeb only won 5 and 6 in best of 5s, but kind of was stuck on a team with score, and they never got it done. And, they are kind of those guys that are in that conversation for best players of all time, but it's a really nuanced eye test sort of conversation that you need to have about that, because the win-loss weren't there. And understand win-loss is a team stat, but at the same time it's hard to grade a player that didn't get to go to international events all that often in their career. And Smab and Score are in that boat. But Smab 5 and 6, Kingen 9 and 15, world champion, 9 and 15 though, for a 38% win rate over his career. 35% win rate for Rascal, 6 and 11. Doran, 16 and 9. Kana with KC right now has a record of 9 and 5 at a 64% win rate. And you look, and that's the 6th most best of 5s out of any top laner in that window of time in the LCK. That's impressive in my opinion. And then you have Kuve at the bottom, 7 and 3, obviously a World's MVP. Was he World's MVP? Yeah, he had. If he wasn't, I wasn't really paying. But didn't he set the record for solo kills in a Worlds that year? Jungle Roll, Peanut, 67% win rate, the best on the board, 24 and 12. Great player, of course. No Worlds. This year, it's kind of like that Deft storyline from 2022. If we can get Peanut a Worlds, that would be really nice. Canyon, 18 and 10, 64%. Owner, 16 and 11, 59%. Then you have Cuz, a player that's kind of kicked around from team to team, 11 and 12 over his career in best of 5s. Klid, we know Klid is a problematic individual, but 9 and 6 in best of 5s. Score 6 and 7, 46% win rate. Pioshik, world champion, but 5 and 8, and currently, what last we saw, pretty much benched. And then there's Lucid. And you'd be like, really, Lucid? He's already played 10 best of 5s in his career in the LCK. An extremely young player. It will not be long before he ends up overtaking everybody on this list in terms of most best of 5s, because he is a talent. Mid lane, of course, you have Faker. 48 best of 5s over his career for a 65% win rate. That's the second best on the board behind Crown. Crown obviously playing a short window of time in his prime, going 7 and 3 in that window, 70% win rate. Chovy, 22 and 13, 63% win rate. Showmaker, 15 and 13. Then you have BDD, like the best player that isn't getting it done, right? 10 and 14. Zeka, 13 and 11, 54%. And Fly, surprisingly enough, 4 and 6 for a 40% win rate. So you kind of look at this top side here. You got like King and Cuz BDD are like the top players with a negative win rate in best of 5s in the LCK. Bot lane, Deft. Yes, Deft is 17-17. Well, was. He's retired now. So was 17-17 in his career in best of fives in the LCK. Of course, he played in the LPL for a short window of time. Ruler, you'd think he had a better one, but not really. 15-11 in his career in best of fives for 58% win rate. Guma 15-10. And then you have Viper in aiming. Surprising that Viper, many people be like, really? Viper's, he's won so many, best of fives recently, but a lot, I mean, hell, with Life, they were struggling on HLE. But then also in his Griffin days, they lost a lot of best of fives. That team was very, very fucking good, but couldn't win best of fives. So 12-13, aiming 8-14. I mean, a great regular season player. Statistically, he's been strong for many years, but just doesn't get it done. And sometimes was not on great teams. But then you have Teddy and Pays. 73% win rate and 85% win rate. Teddy on T1, after struggling on Jin Air Green Wings for God knows how long, he just racked up BO5 wins. And then Pays just racked up BO5 wins with Gen G on the top teams in the world at the time. And that's kind of crazy how good their win rate was. Followed by Bang 6-4. That's remnants of 2016 and early on when he was playing with T1. And then even Duck Dom 4-6, 40% win rate. Support, Carria 19-14 in his career in best of fives, 58% win rate. Think back to DRX before he even joined T1. Lahens 14-14, 50% win rate. But he played with Gen G, yes, but he also played with that Griffin roster. And even, I think, with Afrika for a little while. Barrel, 10-12, 45% win rate. He's went to Worlds, won Worlds, multi-world champion, but in terms of best of fives domestically, not as strong. Delight, 15-5. The only player I've ever seen leave Bro and just like career, they can recover their career. Young player, has really developed into somebody that is a force to be reckoned with. Excellent, obviously, went from Pays to Viper. You really can't get it much better. Back-to-back ADC duo partner. Then you have Life, 5-12, 29% win rate. Yeah, that's a guy that's kind of like the Korean Hilly, in my opinion, in terms of play style. But in Korea, you're going to get punished more than that. Kellen, 7-9, 44% win rate, a solid player. Tucson, 6-6. Mata, 6-4. Think about him playing with Deft, with KT way back when. Also a bit with T1. And then Effort, 6-4, who played with T1 as well. It's just interesting to kind of look at this and then think, who are the players that... So yesterday's video, I did like who did well against T1 in best of fives, because internationally and domestically, because it's T1 and a lot of people don't like T1 and a lot of people like T1. So it becomes a situation where, why don't we do that video? In this one, I figured let's go off of that, piggyback off of that idea. Who does well in best of fives in the LCK? Because best of fives is what determines who goes to international events, right? And we see who tends to win and who tends to lose. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.